Hi, I'm Michael Knorr with Architecture Minute. This episode is about 5 architects that made important contributions to architecture, but most people have probably never heard of them. They aren't usually covered in architectural history classes, but that doesn't mean their contributions aren't worth looking at. So, let's take a look. We have become accustomed to unusual shapes in architecture through the work of modern starchitects like Daniel Libeskind, Santiago Calatrava, and Frank Gehry. Long before these starchitects, Frederick Kiesler was a pioneer of freeform shapes. The ultimate product of Kiesler's theories was the endless house, an idea he developed over 40 years starting in 1922. The unbuilt project was a revolt against the rigidity of emerging modernist architecture. Kiesler promoted the endless house as having no beginning and no end. He believed it responded organically to natural human movement. Next on our list is Mary Coulter. At a time when few women were practicing or allowed to practice architecture, Mary Coulter was designing hospitality projects for the Fred Harvey Corporation. This company specialized in lodging and restaurants along railroad routes in the western United States. Her designs were a romanticized interpretation of Western American culture. Mary Coulter also designed a number of structures for Grand Canyon National Park, including Hopi House, the Watchtower, Hermit's Rest, and Phantom Ranch. It is hard to imagine a more perfect architecture for the Grand Canyon than her unabashedly rustic designs. A contemporary of Mary Coulter is Julia Morgan. Working out of San Francisco, Morgan designed lovely West Coast style buildings like the Sausalito Women's Club, St. John's Presbyterian Church, and the Hacienda Hotel. Her work compares favorably with better known regional architects like Bernard Maybeck, who was a mentor to Morgan. If you don't know Julia Morgan, you certainly know her most famous project, Hearst Castle, built for her patron, newspaper publisher William Randolph Hearst. Morgan's genius in Hearst Castle was creating a romantic backdrop for her client's inflated ego. In this case, extreme wealth managed to purchase extreme talent. Of the people listed here, Rudolf Steiner may be the most unusual. Steiner is best known as creator of the Waldorf schools. Started in Germany in 1919, Waldorf schools are respected worldwide for their creative educational methods. Steiner also developed an esoteric philosophy bordering on the occult called anthroposophy. Included was a philosophy of architecture. Buildings designed under Steiner's principles emphasize natural forms and strive to engage all the senses. They avoid orthogonal geometry in favor of shapes that mirror human form. These are admirable goals, but I find most Steiner-influenced buildings to be odd and self-consciously awkward. You can make your own judgment. Charles Voysey practiced in England. Rooted in the arts and crafts movement, his buildings do not reflect any particular historical style. Nevertheless, they have a calculated patina that makes them seem older than they really are. Timeless, perhaps. Voysey's work is characterized by strong horizontal lines and natural materials. Replaces steeply pitched roofs with shallow hip roofs, and his buildings begin to resemble those of Frank Lloyd Wright. Practicing during the same decades, they almost certainly would have been aware of each other's work, and perhaps there were cross-cultural influences. That's 5 important architects you probably never heard of. I believe their unique approaches to architecture have influenced, whether consciously or not, the practice of architecture through the decades up to this day. Perhaps you can see the echoes of their ideas in the work of modern architects. Thank you for watching Architecture Minute. Please support this YouTube channel by liking and subscribing.